Hello, CSUB 316 students. Happy Martin Luther King Day. I know you guys are getting the day off. Thought I would tape a very brief clip here, no longer than 5 minutes, I hope. And I thought I would make 2 weeks fit into 5 minutes. And hopefully it'll help you understand what we're doing in the class and hopefully help you with the assignment that's due on Wednesday, which is the first data analysis. Yes, I am in fact wearing my Tinkerbell half marathon medal. I'm very proud of it. Yes, very proud. Tinkerbell is very proud of me as well. So, at any rate, I wanted to start off with the beginning of the class, which we've talked about a lot, and I don't want to belabor the point, but it does talk about, we begin with Madisonian pluralism and this idea that America is defined by its diversity, by the fact that Americans are expected to pursue their claims of individual self-interest, and by doing that, you're going to have a diverse array of interests in the country, largely spurred by the unequal distribution of property. You have different racial interests, different economic interests, different regional interests, different gender interests, and the list goes on and on. And of course, when you have such a diverse country like that, it's going to be very difficult to agree upon what the Romans called the res publica, or the common good. So Madison understood that while normal Americans are there to pursue their self-interest, you need at some point to have a system that will deliberate over that huge diverse array of interest and actually divine and figure out what is good for the country, what is the common good of the country. And that's why you need to have what they would call, the founders would have called it a republic. It's what today we would call a representative democracy. And the virtue of the Congress, according to Madison, is deliberation. It takes a lot of work to look at the diverse array of interests in the country and come up with a set of laws and programs and regulations that serve the common interest of the nation. And that's why Congress is not designed to be efficient. It is designed to deliberate. It is designed to discuss. It's designed at times to be antagonistic towards one another. And of course, the way that the founders ensured that you would have not just self-government, where individuals know what they want, but also good government, is by creating a structure that is defined by the term bicameralism. So you have a House and you have a Senate. And the House and the Senate are two very institutions, and they were like that on purpose. Now, the House, of course, is designed to be more democratic, more proximate to the people. And that's why they have a short 2-year term. That's why they only represent a district and not an entire state. That's why they tend to be younger in nature. And so you have the House. And the Senate, of course, it was designed originally to be much more distant from the people, to say, okay, well, I know what the people want. The House told us that. But we also care about good government and what's right for the nation. And so that's why you have a Senate. And senators are there for 6 years. They represent an entire state. In the original Constitution, before the 17th Amendment, they weren't put there by the people. They were put there indirectly by state legislatures. And so bicameralism dictates that you have not just a reflection of the people, but also a refinement of their kind of popular raw sentiment into wise public policy. Now, that translates itself into certain ramifications when it comes to elections. And let's talk about those elections. That's largely what your data analysis is about. You'll notice that in general, in the House of Representatives, the representatives get reelected at a higher rate, kind of average in the 90s. And that makes sense, by the way. The structure of the Constitution dictates that higher reelection rate. And that higher reelection rate is there because you can't get too far away from public opinion, right? You have a 90% reelection rate because House members are there to be close to the people. Okay, and so if you're in the House of Representatives and you start to do things that the people in your district don't want, you're not going to win re-election. Whereas the Senate is closer to the 70s, and that's there by design. You are designed to do things that are not necessarily popular. Benjamin, you just ruined Daddy's video. Well, say hello. Say hello.
Hello.
Say, I ruined Daddy's tape.
I ruined Daddy's tape.
Can you sit here for 1 more minute as I keep taping?
Yeah.
Okay. So 1 more minute, okay? Now, when we're talking about how, this is just a fake sword, by the way. Don't think that I let him play with real swords. Anyhow, so at any rate, go talk to Mom. Go. Take my medal. Here, take my medal and go play with Mommy. Okay, go. Go show Mommy the medal Daddy just gave. Go. Awesome. Okay, we're back. Okay, so at any rate, when you talk about House elections, because the House is only going to represent one district, not a whole state, you have this process every 10 years called reapportionment, where you figure out how many districts are in each state, and then that leads to redistricting, where they actually have to draw the boundaries of each state. And sometimes that's called gerrymandering, where it's done by partisan legislatures that want to maximize their numbers in the House of Representatives. And of course that makes sense, and it's more democratic in nature. And then finally, when you have so many people who are being reelected through the process of gerrymandering, you get people who tend to be there for a very, very, very long time. And that's given rise in the last 50 years to the phenomenon of career politicians, of people who are no longer there to service the public for a few years, but they make a career out of politics. And people wonder if that's necessarily a good thing for a system that was really designed to be for the citizen legislator. And of course, that's led to discussions about term limits. Would it be better to have people who know they're only going to be there for a few terms? Are they more likely to do the right thing, not the popular thing, if they know they're not going to be there forever? Again, if a politician is always thinking that his number one job is to win re-election, is he insulated enough from short-term considerations in order to do what is right for the country? So some people say, yeah, we do need to have term limits. Others would say, no, you need specialization. You need people who know what they're doing. There's no empirical evidence to suggest that states that have term limits are governed any better than those that don't. So these are some of the issues that have been coming up in the first few weeks. I hope you've enjoyed the class. I know that I have. Sorry for the interruption from the little guy. See you on Wednesday.